Good, boys. What's happening? About to get on the red line to head over to Wrigley. You guys have been around the block. What's that locker room going to be like today, in your opinion?
Jesse, if they've got anything hanging between their legs, they're walking in going, you know what? It's not a must-win, but if we can't beat the freaking Pirates with no Paul Skeens this weekend and dominate this series, and it's 98,000 degrees, the ball should be flying, then what are we doing here?
Well,
it's embarrassing what we're watching. This overrated manager, and I said it, he's so overrated, it's ridiculous. And then I'm listening to people or reading people this morning. The Brewers just do a better job of drafting and developing. Mike Petrillo, you know him. Hoodie knows him from MLB.com. You know what he just wrote? One of MLB's least homegrown teams has not made a first-round pick who's become an all-star since 2006.
Yeah, there's a lot to go into why the Brewers are better than the Cubs. I mean, we've done it a few times here. If I'm the Cubs, if I'm a coach, if I'm the manager, as you just mentioned, Craig Counsell, I am doing something to loosen that locker room up. I mean, this team needs to go to a water park or something. They can't do it this morning, but we've seen this so many times in Chicago, especially with the Cubs. The weight of expectations. I mean, you don't need to be an expert to see they are squeezing those bats way too tight. That this thing is wearing on them. You could see it in Kyle Tucker's demeanor, his body language, the throwing the helmet. This team needs to loosen up. It's the age-old thing, Cap. We've been doing this for 40 years. The weight of expectations have really crushed the Cubs over the seasons, except for a couple, meaning 16 and a couple other moments. But that's it. They need to loosen up and figure it out. I'm with you on all of that, and that is a manager's job.
Yeah, I think the only evidence of something between the legs of the Cubs is Turner, and that was picked up by the marquee cameras. So as far as the Blue Jays series, Jess, when we take a look at that, I mean, only scoring 6 runs in that series. We know the Blue Jays are a top-notch team. They've come out of nowhere. It's amazing how good they've been. But what have you gleaned from the series from the Cubs standpoint? Because as Kap and I have documented, there's so many opportunities with runners at scoring position or runner at second base or, again, less than 2 outs, and the Cubs just could not cash in. What stands out most about that?
Yeah, like I said, that 8th inning is an example of squeezing the bats too tight. They're just feeling it collectively, and it doesn't feel like there's a person that can sort of jolt them out of it. Like if Tucker was going well, the guys around him might. Suzuki, PCA, everyone struggling in sort of the same manner, Jay Hood. Chasing a little bit more, but not too much. Just missing good pitches, and I don't quite get it. If I did, I'd be a hitting coach. But you asked me what I gleaned from that series. It's more of the same. Their starting staff has been tremendous. Matthew Boyd wearing it because he gave up a 2-run homer to one of the best hitters in the league. Not good. Base open 0-2. Okay, not good, but still, it's just 2 runs. They're second or first in ERA since the All-Star break in the rotation. But their OPS is like 23rd since the All-Star break. So I feel like it's more of the same and pressing. It's so obvious to me. You don't need to be a baseball expert to see that.
So, Jesse, yesterday, explain this to me because maybe I'm just got a problem here thinking clearly. You've got Ian Happ up. You've got first and second, nobody out in the 8th. I'm not worried about a big inning. People are like, well, we got to have a big inning. I just need a run. I got to get the game tied, period. We're asking Ian Happ to turn around right-handed against a left-hander, and then that's your worst side, can you get a bunt down? And I flipped over to the Blue Jays broadcast because I wanted to hear what they're talking about strategically rather than what's being eaten in the ballpark with Taylor. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to listen to the Blue Jays. And I'm listening to the broadcast, and they said, I don't know about this strategy here. Ian Happ has not laid down a successful sacrifice since 2021. So 4 years later, we're going to ask him to bunt against a pretty tough lefty who, by the way, we drafted in the first round and sold to the Blue Jays. So let me just put that out there as well. And he can't do it. Now there's a wild pitch. We get to second, third, and now he strikes out. Can't shorten up, can't hit a ground ball, can't get a fly ball. Now here comes Tucker. Tucker looks inept, and then Carson Kelly, who should not ever be hitting in the 4-hole, and he strikes out, inning over. Why is Justin Turner on this team? You got a lefty coming up. Why is Justin Turner here? Why not let him hit in that situation?
Well, pinch hitting for Ian Happ hasn't been something that any Cubs manager has done over the years, right?
Why?
I don't know, because he's your starting outfielder. I know it's happened with PCA, but PCA splits are so bad that Counsell tried it one time. I just pinch hitting for your starting players is just not something you normally do.
Stop.
Look, and Justin Turner is no. I'm not saying you can't do what you're saying. I'm just saying the other side of it. I mean, it's a 50-50 call, and maybe 60-40 against or 7-30 against, because Ian Happ has been a starter in this league for 7-8 years. And yes, he's going bad, but so is everyone else. I mean, Justin Turner, in my mind, has one big hit this year, the home run to end the game. Probably has a few other hits I'm not remembering that were important. But you could. I'm not saying you can't, Cap. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying, like,
True Fan Travel and ESPN Chicago are teaming up for the ultimate fan getaway to Sin City to see the Bears take on the Raiders in Las Vegas.
You get round-trip airfare, 3-night stay at Mandalay Bay, special live broadcasts and meet and greets with the full ESPN Chicago team, all-inclusive tailgate, tickets to Bears, Raiders, and more to come.
Spots are limited, so don't wait. Reserve your spot today at truefantravel.com. Back to you on the video.
If we're into, but I agree that it feels desperation, whether you're pinch hitting for him or bunting Ian Happ, which he doesn't do, or pinch hitting for PCA here and not doing it there. Like, there's a lot of desperation that Counsell's trying, and I sort of get it because you're struggling. But the bottom line is, and let's not bury the lead, I agree Matt Shaw should move up in the lineup. The bottom line is your stars have to be your stars. Now, while they're struggling, you need to gobble up some wins in different ways, and maybe Matt Shaw batting second is a way to get a victory, because he was the only guy that didn't get 4 at-bats yesterday. He was left on deck to end the game. But in the long run, your stars have to be your stars, and I heard you at the beginning of the show. We can blame everyone we want, but it starts with those players.
There's no question about it. It starts with the players, because those same guys that had a high OPS, those same guys that were taking the extra base, stealing bases, and again, doing the great things to be able to help the ball club get to the 68 wins, you just don't see in the second half. And as I've been telling Cap, this is not just a Cubs thing. As we well know, there are contenders for the World Series that are still going through the same doldrums offensively. We've seen it. They've gone through their slumps. And now it's the Cubs' turn.
Yeah, the Mets are going through it exactly the way the Cubs. Mets aren't pitching either, but they're struggling at the plate for the most part, and everyone's mad at everybody there.
Yeah.
And you brought up a good question at the beginning of the show, why we don't sort of focus on the players more. And I think it's an emotional thing, because who wants to be mad at PCA? He's this emerging star that everyone loves, the personality, right? And all that. But we'd rather get mad at Jed, which he deserves some, and Tom Ricketts and Counsell. But the players who you kind of fall in love with as a fan now are struggling, and they're not coming through for you, and they're the last you want to turn on. But really, that's what you have to look at. The support staff is there for that exact reason, to support those players. But they're the ones making $20 million, $16 million, $17 million, and they're the ones that are, like in Tucker's case, going to want a big free agent contract. You got to focus on them. But certainly, the manager and the coaches need to loosen the atmosphere. That's one thing they can control. And I'd like to see that happen.
Any Sox news? Let me just say this. It's not a Sox question. I do want to ask you about something that will happen at Sox Park, and that's at the rate with the Savannah Bananas coming in tonight. What could baseball learn from the Savannah Bananas? Have you seen them play at all this year, Jess?
Sure. I've seen the 60 Minutes piece on them and all that stuff. I mean,
what do you think of? Because I've seen them play. And it's amazing. I mean, it's different. It's Circus Soleil and cleats. I understand that it's fun. It's great and the kids are into it. But what could baseball learn from how the Bananas do their business? Because they're sold out everywhere.
They are. It's unbelievable. The ticket this weekend is crazy. I was talking to Sylvie last night. Like, he doesn't know, take the train, drive. That stadium has never seen as many people that's coming this weekend since maybe the World Series. It's going to be crazy. You know, Jay Hood, I know it's easy to say they could learn a lot. And maybe they can in terms of atmosphere in the park, outside the game. But, Kap just made a crack about, Marquis, not talking about the game. Like, when there's competition on the line and wins and losses and fandom and all that stuff, like, you can't be the Savannah Bananas completely if you're Major League Baseball. You know what I'm saying? Like, people get ticked off when there's that many distractions while your team is stinking. And so I think they can learn a lot from things that happen in the stands, but you can't take away from what's on the field and you can't play around with that. And that's half the thing that, with the Bananas, everything that's going on the field, the guy on stilts, all that stuff. Yeah. You can't do any of that, but you can learn from what they're doing in the stands for fans and for kids and stuff like that. So that there's got to be a separation between the competition and the fun. And the Bananas meld that whole thing. I don't think you can do that in Major League Baseball.
Jesse, I want to go back for a second to the whole Craig Counsell thing that Hoodie and I were talking about. When Joe Madden came here, for some people, they don't like the loosey-goosey attitude. Maybe it ran its course, maybe not. He did go to 3 straight NLCS, and, I don't know, it was only 108 years, and he won a World Series, and those guys played relaxed. And I remember, and you were there, we came home from St. Louis. It was on a Sunday, I believe, and they had practice at Wrigley. They're playing the Cardinals in the NLDS, and there's 3 chefs setting up a cooking station behind home plate. I'm like, hey, you guys, I was there early because I had to do a hit on air. I said, you guys know there's a game here, or a practice here today. Yeah, Joe Madden hired us. What are you doing? Oh, he's got breakfast for everybody. What? And there was pancakes and all the trimmings. And Joe said, guys, grab something to eat, take a few swings, go be with your family. We'll play tomorrow. We've played 170-some games. We're good. And all that took the pressure off him. Craig Counsell, I don't think, has any personality like that to relax this team. I don't see the tactical advantage. I'm not saying he's a bad manager. My point is that when you fire David Ross and you pay $8 million guaranteed dollars a year for 5 years, $40 million, I should look, and I said to Hoodie, I should say, I'll beat you with my team, and then I'll take your team, and I'll beat you with your players. I don't see it.
Yeah, it's a great observation about Joe. I mean, even Joe's best quality got to roll the eyes, but but that at times from players and other people. But it was still an incredible quality that was needed at that moment. And that is what I'm talking about. Don't let the pressure exceed the pleasure. Embrace the target. Those sayings and that atmosphere and that vibe was so perfect for a team that 108 years of expectations on its shoulders was so perfect for that moment. And I don't disagree with you. I think Craig needs to have that muscle. If you have that club in your golf bag, pull it out now. Loosen that place up. It's the first time Craig has experienced the high expectations in Chicago and the team underachieving. Now react to it. Joe was so good at that. And you're right. Maybe it's ran its course. Maybe the eye rolls got a little bit more in the year, 4 or 5, whatever it was. But in that moment, in those first few years, it was exactly what that team needed, and it's exactly what this team needs now. It's the only thing a manager can do. He can't go up there and hit for them, but he needs to lighten that atmosphere up. And so far, it does feel like he's got a buttoned-up sort of vibe to him. That's not going to fly with these hitters. It's got to be a looser atmosphere.
As a refresher for Joe Madden, check out The Franchise with Bruce Miles and Jesse Rogers, available now on Amazon. Jesse, as always, we appreciate the time.
And don't forget, try not to suck the first